When the Holy One was about to make the world, all of the letters stood forth and presented themselves before him in reversed order. The letter Tau advanced in front and pleaded, "May it please thee, O Lord of the world, to place me first in the creation of the world, seeing that I am the concluding letter of truth which is engraved upon thy seal, and seeing that thou art called by this very name of truth, it is most appropriate for the king to begin with the final letter of truth and to create with me the world." The Holy One said to her, "Thou art worthy and deserving, but it is not proper that I begin with thee the creation of the world, since thou art destined to serve as a mark on the foreheads of the faithful, who have kept the law from Aleph to Tau, and through the absence of this mark the rest will be killed, and further thou formest the conclusion of death, hence thou art not meet to initiate the creation of the world." The Shin then came to the fore and pleaded, "O Lord of the world, may it please thee to begin with me the world, seeing that I am the initial letter of thy name, Almighty, and it is most fitting to create the world through that holy name." Said the Lord, "Thou art worthy, thou art good, thou art true, but I may not begin through thee the creation of the world, since thou formest part of the group of letters expressing forgery, falsehood, which is not able to exist unless the Kof and Resh draw thee into their company. Hence it is that a lie, to obtain credence, must always commence with something true, for the Shin is a letter of truth, that letter by which the patriarchs communed with God, but Kof and Resh are letters belonging to the evil side, which in order to stand firm attach to themselves the Shin, thus forming a conspiracy." Having heard all this, the Shin departed. Sade entered and said, "O Lord of the world, may it please thee to create with me the world, inasmuch as I am the sign of the righteous, and of thyself who art called righteous, as it is written, for the Lord is righteous, he loveth righteousness." The Lord answered, "O Zadi, thou art Zadi, and thou signifiest righteousness. But thou must be concealed, they may not come out in the open, so much less thou givest the world cause for offence. For thou consistest of the letter Nun, surmounted by the letter Yod, representing together the male and the female principles. And this is the mystery of the creation of the first man, who was created with two faces, male and female combined. In the same way the Nun and the Yod in the Zadi are turned back to back and not face to face, whether the Zadi is upright or turned downwards." The Holy One said to her further, "I will in time divide thee in two, so as to appear face to face, but thou wilt go up in another place." Zadi departed. The letter Pe presented herself and pleaded thus, "May it please thee, O Lord of the world, to create through me the world, seeing that I signify redemption and deliverance, which thou art to vouchsafe to the world. It is hence meet that through me the world be created." The Lord answered, "Thou art worthy, but thou representeth transgression, and moreover thou art shapen like the serpent, who had his head curled up within his body, symbolic of the guilty man who bends his head and extends his hand." The letter Ayin was likewise refused as standing for iniquity, despite her plea that she represents humility. Then the Samek appeared and said, "O Lord of the world, may it please thee to create through me the world, inasmuch as I represent upholding of the fallen, as it is written, the Lord upholdeth all that fall." The Lord answered her, "This is just the reason why thou should remain in thy place, for should thou leave it, what will be the fate of the falling, seeing that they are upheld by thee?" She immediately departed. The nun entered and pleaded her merits as being the initial letter in fearful in praises, as well as in comely in praise for the righteous. The Lord said, O nun, return to thy place, for it is for thy sake, as representing the falling, that the Samak returned to her place. Remain therefore under her support. The nun immediately returned to her place. The Mem came up and said, O Lord of the world, may it please thee to create by me the world, inasmuch as I commenced the word Melech, which is king, thy title. The Lord replied, It is so assuredly, but I cannot employ thee in the creation of the world, for the reason that the world requires a king. Return therefore to thy place, thou along with the Ladith and the Kaf, since the world cannot exist without a king. At that moment the Kaf descended from its throne of glory, and quaking and trembling said, O Lord of the universe, may it please thee to begin through me the creation of the world, seeing that I am thine own honour. And when Kaf descended from its throne of glory, 200,000 worlds began to shake, the throne trembled, and all the worlds quaked, and were about to fall in ruins. Said to her the Holy One, blessed be his name, Kaf, Kaf, what dost thou here? I will not create the world with thee. Go back to thy place, since thou standest for extermination. Return then to thy place and remain there. Immediately she departed and returned to her own place. The letter Yod then presented herself and said, May it please thee, O Lord, to vouchsafe me first place in the creation of the world, since I stand first in the sacred name. The Lord said to her, It is sufficient for thee that thou art engraven and marked in myself, and that thou art the channel of my will. Thou must not be removed from my name. The Tef then came up and said, O Lord of the universe, may it please thee to place me at the head in the creation of the world, since through me thou art called good and upright. The Lord said to her, I will not create the world through thee, as the goodness which thou representest is hidden and concealed within thyself, as it is written, O how abundant is thy goodness which thou hast laid up for them that fear thee. Since then it is treasured within thyself, it has no part in the world, which I am going to create, but only in the world to come. And further, it is because thy goodness is hidden within thee, that the gates of the temple sunk into the ground, as it is written. And furthermore, the letter Heth is at thy side, and when joined, you make sin. She departed immediately. Then the Zayin presented herself, and put forth her claim, saying, O Lord of the world, may it please thee to put me at the head of the creation, since I represent the observance of the Sabbath, as it is written, Remember the day of the Sabbath, to keep it holy. The Lord replied, I will not create the world through thee, since thou representest war, being in shape like a sharp-pointed sword or a lance. And the Zayin immediately departed from his presence. The Vow entered and put forth her claim, saying, O Lord of the world, may it please thee to use me first in the creation of the world, inasmuch as I am one of the letters of thy name. But the Lord said, Thou vow as well as He, suffice it to you that you are of the letters of my name, part of the mystery of my name, engraven and impressed in my name. I will therefore not give you first place in the creation of the world. Then appeared the letter Daleth, as well as the letter Gimel, and put forth similar claims. The Lord gave them a similar reply. It should suffice you to remain side by side together, since the poor will not cease from the land, who will thus need benevolence. For the Daleth signifies poverty, and the Gimel beneficence. Therefore separate not from one another, but let it suffice you that one maintains the other. The Beth then entered and said, O Lord of the world, may it please thee to put me first in the creation of the world, since I represent the benedictions offered to thee on high and below. The Holy One said to her, Assuredly, with thee I will create the world, and thou shalt form the beginning in the creation of the world. The letter Aleph remained in her place without presenting herself. The Holy One said, Aleph, Aleph, wherefore comest thou not before me like the rest of the letters? She answered, because I saw all the other letters leaving, thy presence without any success. What then could I achieve here? And further, since thou hast already bestowed on the letter Beth this great gift, it is not meet for the Supreme King to take away the gift which he has made to his servant and give it to another. The Lord said to her, Aleph, Aleph, although I will begin the creation of the world with the Beth, thou wilt remain the first of the letters. My unity shall not be expressed except through thee. On thee shall be based all calculations and operations of the world, and unity shall not be expressed save by the letter Aleph. Then the Holy One, blessed be his name, made higher world letters of a large pattern and lower world letters of a small pattern. It is therefore that we have here two words beginning with Beth, Barisha, Bara, and then two words beginning with Aleph, Elohim F. They represent the higher world letters and the lower world letters, which two operate above and below, together and as one.